Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the Roronoa. Oh my God, here we go with the speech impediment. Rora, Roronoa Zoro from One Piece. Jesus Christ, One Piece, the Romance Dawn version. There's a reason why I have him standing like this, because this is really the only way you can get his arms to come straight down to his, like, parallel to his waist, is to have his shoulders super weird like this. We'll talk about this is more in the articulation portion of the video, so I won't really get into that right now, but there are some weird choices with the articulation here. I do have him standing kind of weird. I feel like this is how he kind of stood in the beginning of One Piece. He was kind of like pelvis out type standing. I don't know, you tell me. I feel like that's how he used to stand. It wasn't really so much straight up and down. But yeah, other than that, I think he looks great. I really, really do. You can even these pieces out, but you won't. I mean, that's pretty good. It's not as straight up and down as they were before, but if you kind of want to get them more, I guess, even, then you can have them like that, and it does look better, let's be honest. But anyway, he looks really, really good. I do wish they obviously, as usual with Tamashii Nations, I wish they would have put some shading in here. I do think his pants are way too shiny. I think that a matte coat on there would have gone a long way. Unfortunately, they did not do that. But without with those things missing, he still looks pretty good, especially considering the canon. I think his face and his head look really good. It looks like him to me. I don't know why they made the oh no, never mind. Yes, I do. I always forget that this actually is supposed to go on his head too. So when he takes this off, you can remove it. So this is removable. So when you use the head with the bandana on, you can kind of simulate that he doesn't have the bandana on anymore, so you can't take that off. But obviously when he doesn't have the bandana on, he wraps it around his arm like that. I forgot about that, sorry. They could have used some shading in his little sash here for sure. That would have gone a long way in making this guy look a lot better. But as far as aesthetics are concerned, I think he looks really, really good. The eyes and everything aren't too far apart. The face looks pretty good. If you get a little bit closer here, the face looks really good. Yeah, everything is there that needs to be there. I just think Tamashii Nations just doesn't put in the work on their figures anymore, and they don't really care about the One Piece line, if you ask me. I feel like this is just a popular IP that they knew that would sell, and I don't think that they really put any love into this IP, to be honest with you. They are sculpting them well for the most part, but when it comes down to articulation and stuff, they just shit the bed all the time with these. And so that's just kind of how I feel. I don't think Tamashii Nation really cares about One Piece. They just like the fact that these figures will most likely sell because One Piece is an extremely popular anime, and so they are the only ones currently making 1/12 versions of One Piece, and so they knew that they can latch on to a demographic of people that collect 1/12 scale figures, and that's most people, I would say. And so, hey, let's throw One Piece in there. Let's see if we can get that IP and make us some money. And they are probably making a shit ton of money off of these. But unfortunately, it's on the premise of, I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but it's on the premise of kind of shorting, I guess you can say, shorting the figures. Like, they could definitely do more to these than what they are doing, especially when we get into the articulation. But anyway, that's it for aesthetics. I think he looks good. Yeah, he looks like he's supposed to look. So anyway, let's move on to the accessories. Okay, so here are all the accessories that he comes with. Comes with several faces. He comes with 4 extra faces for himself, 1 Luffy face, so the 2 yelling faces go together. This is another headpiece. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. So anyway, I think I was on this piece. So yeah, this is just another headpiece for his scarf or bandana. So this goes, see if I can do this on camera. Yeah, it goes on his head like this, and then you stick a face in there, and then you pop it on his neck. So that is for the bandana. I took it apart. It comes together in the box, but I took it apart just so I can show it so it can sit right on the table. Then we have all 3 of his swords. These pieces do come out. You can take those out in order to simulate him holding them if you want him to. Then we have all 3 of his swords. Then we have a plethora of hands, open hands, thumbs up hands, holding hands, or weapon holding hands, I should say. But yeah, that is really it. No effect pieces or anything like that. They don't seem to come. That's another thing with the One Piece line. They don't come with any effect pieces ever. Like that big ass Kaido figure didn't come with like a borrow breath or nothing. No excess, no extra effect pieces for him. Just nobody. What's his daughter's name? Oh, it slips my mind. I don't know why I even try to pretend to try to remember people's names, because I can barely speak anyway, and so remembering something is just not something that I'm going to do, especially when it comes to people's names. I'm more of a face guy, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm just rambling. Let's move on to articulation. Okay, so for articulation, his head can look up that much. I think he's on a... Oh, that was the first time that happened. Yeah, double ball peg, which is a good thing. They don't give you a lot of room in that neck, unfortunately, so it can't go up as much as I think it should, but I think that's good enough for Zoro. Down is really, really good side to side, so kind of a little bit on the loose side, but he can get that head in all kind of places. Shoulders. Now this is the part that I am totally confused by. I'm not quite sure why they decided to go with this. This is such a weird setup. This is where we get to Tamashii Nation's over engineering something. Like, why did you do this? It's like you can't see inside of there, but it's like on a V swing joint, and this is a double ball. So how do they have this in here? Oh no, so this is a hinge joint here, going into a ball peg here, and then this ball peg is connected to like another kind of swinging hinge joint that goes up into the neck and then comes down here, so it's a kind of like an upside down V. It is horribly ugly. Like, look at all that gapping. All that gapping is nuts. You can see all up inside of him. Now you can pose that away, but why is this even a thing? Like, does he need to come way out here? We'll see if this even helps a butterfly joint at all, but do you really want a butterfly joint when when this is something that can happen? Like, this is crazy. This is way too much going on there. Way too much. You got a bicep swivel there. Double jointed elbows, good. Oh, way over 90. And then you have your typical hinged wrist peg. But then let's see. Okay, so I mean, it works really, really well. So I guess they have accomplished that. It is a very, very good butterfly joint, but you are going to get all kind of gapping in the back. I mean, you know, I don't make figures. I just review them, and I see a lot of figures. I have a lot of figures. This is something that I don't feel was necessary. Now I don't know what poses that they're trying to get. Maybe it's for this pose that they're making him so disjointed in order to get this pose here. I didn't show the box either. I'm sorry, but yeah, here's the box. I forgot to show that at the beginning of the video, but I'm not quite sure why they did that. I can only assume for that particular pose right there, but I don't know if you really need to go through all that to get that pose. I think there are other ways they could have taken to achieve the same result without all this extreme gappiness and choppiness. Like, look how much they cut out of the chest in order to get this huge gap, or this huge cut into the butterfly joint in order to do one pose. Maybe, I mean, sure, you can pose it away, but aesthetically that ain't going away. That is there, and it is going to be there. That is a ugly joints. I personally, so subjectively, I don't mind it. Objectively, I think it's an issue. I think it's an issue, and I think they could have definitely come up with a different way to do this. They're always coming up with new ways to make shit look bad. Like, you don't need to do this. How about take all the engineering that you did to make this new joint and put it into some paint? You know, put it into some plastic to not make this look shiny and cheap on his legs. Like shading in the arm, shading in the chest, shading in this little sash or whatever around his waist. Like, I don't think we need this. I don't think we need such a big butterfly joint. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, as far as the torso is concerned, you kind of saw it. So they've been doing this a lot lately, and it frustrates the hell out of me because I really wish they would just make this a double ball peg instead of just this one static peg, because the range is only oh my god, what am I trying to say? The range can only go so far as this hole will allow it, and where that hole will allow it, because once it hits the stem of the ball joint, it's gonna stop. So it doesn't go back because it's running into this, so it won't go backwards. And the way they have that set, it is shifted more forward than it is backwards. So you see the peg is closer to the chest than it is to the back, which isn't allowing the back to have as much range, which I don't care about it going back so much. I would like it to go forward, but it doesn't go that far forward either. They should just make that a double ball peg, and then he would have probably way more range, or way more range than this. This whole video I can't speak for some reason. And then side to side, I think just the way that they have this sculpted, it's just not giving too much side to side action. Like, even that little ball peg could give you more range than that, but for some reason it's not giving me any range side to side as far as this diaphragm joint is concerned. Now, when you do get twisting out of, well, I can't say that either. You barely get any twisting. I guess you can. You just gotta kind of press down on that ball joint, even though you won't get him twisting that far. You don't want him twisting that far in that diaphragm joint, because obviously it's going to look weird, but you do get some twisting there. Then the waist joint, and I looked at this joint. We can take a look at this joint too, because they did the same thing here too, and it's a better example because you can see it. So going backwards is fine, but going forward, you see there's nothing there. You get nothing going forward on that joint. And it's because the way that they have the ball joint set. This ball joint is set going more back. It's prioritizing backward movement than forward movement. If this was just a double ball peg set in the middle of the figure, of the waist, just kind of vertically, just straight up and down and in the middle, and make it a double ball peg, you would get way more movement out of that. You would get way more movement out of that. Now you can argue because of this piece, you might not be able to get as much movement with a double ball peg here, but you get essentially nothing going forward. You get all your back movement here and all your forward movement up here. So it's a strange setup that they have going on here. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So he's not doing any dynamic posing with that waist and that diaphragm joint, unfortunately. See, he goes back pretty far with that joint. But anyway, can't quite get full splits. I mean, this is fine. This is okay. Zoro is not as well known for his legs as he is for just swinging his swords and jumping and stuff. But I mean, there's no reason not to have it. But I guess this is good enough. Thigh swivel, you can obviously see that. Single jointed knees. Oh, Tamashi. This is just, I don't even know what to say about this. Then you can see the gigantic slit in it too when you bend it all the way. Like, oh my God. I just don't know. And I've recently seen the Usopp pictures, and it looks like Usopp, who has way baggier pants than Zoro, it looks like they put a double jointed knee on him. So I guess they're improving, but why they picked Usopp to do it on, I haven't seen it. Obviously, we don't have the figure in hand yet, but it looks like he has double jointed knees. So why they picked Usopp to have double jointed knees? They won't give it to Luffy. They don't give it to Zoro. I don't think they gave it to Sanji. But Usopp, of all people, gets double jointed knees. It's just beyond me. Anyway, he can't get on the ankles. He can't get down that far, but he can kick up a little bit. You do get an ankle rocker out of that, and then you have a relatively loose toe hinge there. But Zoro. Unfortunately, I am one of those people that is contributing to the problem. I am one of those people that's also contributing to the problem because I'm still buying these figures. I am still buying these One Piece figures, and unfortunately, I guess you can kind of call me a hypocrite, but I'm also a reviewer, so I can kind of scapegoat on that, I guess. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a comparison, and then we can get up off this review. Okay, so here is the crew so far. We still need a Romance Dawn Sanji, and we need a Chopper. Hold on, was Chopper there yet? I don't think Chopper was there yet. Yeah, I don't think Chopper was there quite yet, so maybe not Chopper, but we definitely need Chopper for the Wano. They didn't finish the Wano country characters, so we still need a Chopper. We still need a Frankie. Yeah, for at least the Wano characters. But here he is with all the Romance Dawn characters so far. So he fits in. I think he fits in pretty good. I believe that is the Romance Dawn version of Sabo, I think. Yeah, because he doesn't have the flames yet. That's right. So yeah, anyway, that's it for comparisons. Okay, so to wrap things up, I think he's a good looking figure. He does have articulation issues that Tamashii Nation refuses to fix because they don't appreciate the One Piece line. And that is my opinion. So take it or leave it. If you don't like it, it is what it is. But other than that, aesthetically, I think he looks great. I think his pants are a little too shiny along with his shoes. But other than that, I think he looks just like the character from the anime. And I'm pleased to have him. I actually am happy to have him. But as a reviewer, I have to point out the things that are also bad about a figure that I also like. So I do think he is worth getting if you are collecting this line, because obviously you need a Zoro. Everybody needs a Zoro if you're collecting One Piece figures. So let's be serious. But if you're not a completionist like I am as far as these are concerned, then you don't have to get them. But I feel like everybody's a Zoro fan if you like One Piece. There might be some Zoro haters, but they don't matter. So I think he's a great figure. Despite it's subjectively, I think he's a great figure. Objectively, he has quite a few issues as far as articulation is concerned, some over engineering here and there. But even with that said, if I was to give him a rating or something like that, I give him a C. I give him like a 7.5, you know, as far as a figure is concerned. So anyway, that's it for the review. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.